Hello. How are we all today? Just feel like this space, like the void, and I received an email from a group that I subscribe to, and apparently the moon is currently void and there is this space. So if you haven't been feeling particularly like you've been in the doing zone this week, do know that you're not alone. It's a really strange space, it's a really strange time, but just gotta roll with it, surrender, allow, and just see what comes. So what do we need to know this week? Let's see what comes up. Interesting. I love it. You know what? I love it when I see cards and they seem to have like a common theme. Like last week, when I did the card reading for the group, the cards all felt very different and they didn't seem to link and they didn't seem to make sort of sense. But I suppose being in the void means that it didn't make any sense. Anyway, it is what it is. That's what keeps coming to mind as well this week, my phrase, it is what it is. So if you're feeling like nothing's really happening or nothing's going on, just keep telling yourself it is what it is. That's it. Okay, so the first three cards that we've got for this week. So the first card is Optimism. And I feel this one is very much around having that faith and trust that, you know, you are going in the right direction. It's like this angel is walking up these spiral stairs and it's like she can't really see what's coming next, but she's just trusting that she has to keep putting, you know, like one foot in front of the other in order to make her way upstairs, or in order to ascend, I feel, in order to carry on her journey, you know. And she's sort of looking down, but she doesn't want to turn around and go backwards. It feels very much like this is definitely a card to just carry on your journey, carry on having trust, carry on having faith. You know, we don't always know what's around the corner, but keep being, you know, it's living those values, isn't it? Keep being honest, keep being authentic, keep being you, and know that, you know, eventually you will get to the top, yeah? Sorry, I just saw something out of the corner of my eye just sort of float up. It looks sort of like just like a little angel. I've been talking about angels this morning, so oh, lovely. Anyway, carry on, Lindsay. Get distracted. But yeah, this is definitely, I feel, you know, I channeled a message which I still need to like get typed up and share, and it was about what was it about again? Yeah, not knowing what's around the corner, but that was it, that we are reaching this crescendo in our time. So there is something that's coming. They wouldn't tell me exactly what it was, but they just said there was a crescendo coming. So maintain that sort of, you know, that faith and trust. And it's not about, you know, having to be happy all the time, which is a completely other video. But it's about just like taking everything day by day, step by step, you know, breaking it down into hour by hour, minute by minute, and maybe doing like a check-in with yourself as well. So, you know, how you feel in the morning does not dictate how the rest of your day is going to go unless you choose to make it so. So if you wake up in a grumpy mood, you know, asking yourself straight away, why am I feeling grumpy? And doing this like check-in with yourself. Why am I feeling grumpy? Why am I pissed off? Why have I woken up in this mood? Yeah. And then setting the intention that actually, you know, the day can get better. Yeah. So hour by hour. So then an hour later, check in again. So am I still feeling the way I did this morning? Or am I feeling in a different place now? And then even breaking it down, you know, however often you feel you need to do this check-in with yourself and just like, how am I feeling? How am I feeling? And you'll find that if you're in, like, if you're feeling grumpy, if you're feeling sad, if you're feeling fearful, it's like these feelings are momentary. I don't even know if that's a word, but I like it. They come moment by moment, you know, and it's not a state that we have to stay in for the whole day, but taking things step by step, yeah, and maintaining that trust that we don't know what's exactly around the corner, but we as individuals can continue on our journey, yeah, step by step, okay? And knowing that the angelic world, the angelic beings are around you as well, I feel is important. Like having that some sort of faith. So whether you're particularly religious, you know, whether you have a faith in God, whether you have a faith in angels, whether you have a faith in your spirit guide, whoever you place your faith in, continue with that. And then we'll get this one, which is the goddess of the sacred path. And it says, let go of logic and trust your intuition. Okay, so this one, like I said, you know, feels very much themed to the first one, in that it's again, it's very sort of, it feels very individual, and it's around listening to yourself. So, you know, there's so much external bump going on at the minute, yeah, and you might have your friends, you might have your family, you might have me saying stuff, do you know what I mean? You might have other people, and in your mind you're like, oh, I'm so confused because I don't know who to listen to, yeah? But the best person that you can listen to is yourself, yeah? So asking yourself, does this feel right, yeah? And when you begin to use the words as well, I feel rather than I think, then you're coming from a place of intuitiveness rather than like from your head and from a place of ego or thinking. So I feel like this week, learning, just spending time with yourself and learning to listen to yourself and trusting yourself. So how do things feel for you? Yeah, if something feels, if there's like a lot of resistance, if something feels difficult, if it feels hard, yeah, then that might not be the path for you. But logically, your brain might be saying, well, I have to go to work because X, Y, and Z, or I need to spend time with this person because X, Y, and Z. But if your heart's not really in it, then it feels awkward, it feels difficult. So I feel as if what this card's saying is, yeah, it's about listening to yourself. And interestingly, I feel like spiral, you know, like I said with the optimism card, you know, she's going around this spiral and she can't really see what's around the corner. And this feels very much the same. It's like we're here and it's like there's this spiral ascending into like this unknown place. And we don't have to like jump to the unknown place. Just like when we're going up the stairs, we can't get to the top of the tower without taking those steps. And this feels similar. It's very much like we're going to sort of like, we're rising, we're falling, we're rising, we're falling, but we're getting there. Do you know what I mean? And that's sort of like what that feels like. And at the top of this is this beautiful star, which is sort of like it always just reminds me of like wishes and dreams. And I feel like knowing that in order to ascend our consciousness and in order to ascend, you know, to the next level of our learning, of our spiritual journey, yeah, it's like we do rise and then we'll have a blip, but the blips become easier as we go higher, if that makes any sense at all. And sometimes you might, I'm just going off on one now, but sometimes you might find that you're coming back to like the same patterns, or you're revisiting something similar in order to deal with it in a different way. So then you're rising because you've chosen to deal with a situation or a problem in a way that is different to what you've previously reacted to it. And then we have the art card. So I feel very much like this is yeah, I feel like this is, it's like this again, there's something to do with being in the dark slightly. So, you know, people often like will say to me, you know, oh, well, can you see what's coming in the future, and can you see this? And I'm like, well, sometimes it depends, you know, what I'm told or what I'm given. And again, this feels like this card, it's like, you know, this side is sort of like shrouded in mystery, whereas this side can see clearly. So it feels very much like it's this the word discernment comes in, where you're learning, you know, that there is always going to be some mystery to life. We're not told everything, because if we were told everything, then rather than going on the journey and doing this spiraling, you know, you would jump straight to here, but you wouldn't learn anything. There would be no experience which our souls came to earth to have. We came here to have the experience. So we still need this bit of darkness and this bit of mystery and this sort of like not really knowing what's coming next to be able to learn to live more in the moment, to be able to learn more about trusting ourselves and learning to trust our intuition, and surrendering as well, which is a massive thing, you know, rather than trying to control everything, having that understanding that there is a bit of mystery involved in life. And it's quite exciting because you don't know what's around the corner, you don't know who, you know, like over the last few weeks, like people have just contacted me and saying, oh, come with me for a coffee. And either I haven't known them or it's been through another connection. And I'm like, yes, we'll come meet for a coffee. So we'll meet for a coffee, we'll have a chat, and there's a common ground. There's something that has brought us together at that time, you know, for either helping with my vision or helping with their vision of what's coming. So I just feel as if, yeah, just surrendering. And, you know, if somebody says, oh, why don't you do this? Or have you thought about this? Or have you met this person? Trusting that you're receiving this message as a sign that you need to connect with someone, that you need to learn something, that you need to be in a certain place at a certain time, you know, in order to further your growth, I want to say. Let's see what else. So it's very, yeah, the themes do feel much more, what's the word, in line this week than last week. Last week was just all over. Yeah, trust. Shame and trust in higher forces. So knowing that there is more at work than we can see, or maybe that we're aware of. And it's interesting actually because there's this clock here, right? But the clock doesn't actually have any numbers on it. And I feel like that is to do as well with letting go of that logic, you know, in that time. So if you remove the constraints of time, so I mean, I've got I've got a clock on my phone, but I don't own a watch anymore. I don't have any clocks in my house. So, you know, I go with the flow and with the rhythm. And I feel like what this is saying as well with this sort of clock is when you remove the logic of time and those sort of constraints, it just changes things. And even, I feel as if as well, I need to say that even when it says trust in higher forces, that includes yourself as well. So you are a higher force, you know, you have your higher self, and it's trusting in yourself. And we've got the owl on that card as well, which is around wisdom. And it's bringing in wisdom, interestingly, through the crown chakra. And the crown chakra is when we connect with, you know, whatever you want to call it, source, upstairs, universe, higher self, spirit guides. That's where we connect. So that's where we get like the wisdom from, when we are connected, basically. So let's see what the next card says. Okay, so this card says watching clouds. So it says lie back, rest and relax. So, you know, like I said, this last week has been very much felt as if it's been like like there's been space, there's been this void, but I feel like this week it still doesn't feel very much like a massively doing week, but it's like, right, how can I surrender to what's going on around me? Yeah, so it is about taking that time to just chill out, to relax, to surrender, and making time for yourself as well this week. Because when we make that time for ourselves, then we can allow ourselves, we listen to our intuition and we can hear ourselves. Okay, so yeah, so it does feel very much this week a bit like there's this spiral, there's this ascension, and it's ebbing and flowing, rising and falling, but ultimately, you know, we will get to where it is we need to be, to our space. So those are the cards for this week. So thank you all for joining me for that. I hope they sort of make some sense and resonate. So I am now